SoundCloud.
I literally read it so many times. I'm reading it backwards now.
I think this is a good note for everybody out there.
He says that I don't pull well on TikTok, so
He doesn't.
It's
It's just a fact. It just doesn't pull well. It's called social media for a reason, and it's not selfish media.
I just gotta clear something up. You weren't the 12th man on the field.
Right?
There is no easy way to get anything ever.
This is Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast, where we discuss the connection between life and acting.
Alrighty, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Mornings with Matt, the Deering Acting Studio podcast. We are on with, it's me, Matt, here with Joey and Bright Guys, back on the regular show. It's nice to have you back, Bright Guy.
Great being back, buddy.
So today we're talking about starting slow, which I thought it was a really good time. It's funny because I already had this one planned, but this came up yesterday in yesterday's show, and I mentioned to you that it was going to be a really good connect here. And so I want to jump into a quick quote or two here before we dive in. But okay, here we go. Here's a quote. Start slow and build up to faster tempos, and before you know it, you'll see some real results. Start slow and build up to faster tempos, and before you know it, you'll see some real results. This quote reminds me, Brian, of when you were teaching yourself how to play the piano.
Oh yeah, that's a great analogy there.
Right?
Absolutely. You had to start I started with chords, and those aren't as fun, you know.
Yeah.
And you're really slow with that, but if you learn that, all of a sudden, then you can play
A lot of songs.
A lot of songs.
Yeah. Yeah, there was a motivational speaker, I don't remember who it was, who wanted to pick up the guitar, but didn't want to be a guitar player, but just wanted to have that as part of his life. And so he asked a master musician, "Hey, so if I were to learn one thing on the guitar that would maximize my fun on the guitar, what would it be?" And the guy's like, "Just learn chords. Just learn the chords." And he's like, and once you know the chords and you got that down really, really well, you'll be able to play a lot of songs and have a lot of fun. And he's like, "I do now. It's so cool. Now I can play a bunch of different songs. I'm not great or anything, but I enjoy it. It's fun, you know?"
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
That's interesting. All right, here's another one. Don't be discouraged by a slow start. It offers the time and testing you need to lay the right foundation for success. That's Michael Hyatt. I bet you that's that's I don't know if this is
The owner of the Hyatt, yeah.
Yeah, it might be. Don't be discouraged by a slow start. It offers the time and testing you need to lay the right foundation for success. And that quote right there, that's pretty much what I wanted to dive into today. Because when it comes to slow start, I want to begin with the second part, which is start. Like that's key. Like if you can start today, do it. Start today rather than tomorrow. I think so many people wait until they have a perfect plan, and then they don't get going. They don't get started, and so then nothing happens. But having said that, if you try to do everything all at once, you try to just get to the finish line, and on day one, it's going to be a disaster. So there's a couple good examples here. One would be I'm almost my third time through the entire Bible, reading the Bible, and it's something that's become a part of my life, something that I love, I cherish. It's a part of my daily routine. It's very, very important to me. I attribute all of our success here to God first and foremost, and it's amazing how much this has changed my life. But if you were to tell me way back when to read the Bible 3 times, I tried, I would have quit. As a matter of fact, I did quit. I tried to read the Bible from start to finish a few different times, and I quit every time over 10 years. I probably tried it like 10 times and quit every time. And then what I found was this app that took you through. It's called the Bible in 1 year.
This is the Bible in 1 year.
Yeah, so Joey's making fun of the guy because he's British and super
Day
cool.
31.
Pepper ads. His wife is on there.
Pepper ads.
And so, but anyway, it's amazing because it just breaks up the Bible into 365 chunks, and so yeah, it takes you about 15-20 minutes to get through the chunk for the day, including his breakdown of all the different pieces. And for me, like, that really works, and I'm able to just go like, okay, I don't need to think I'm going to read the Bible. I don't need to do that. I just need to start, and I need to keep going, and I've got to be consistent.
Yeah.
Another great example would be, and I've made this mistake too. My gosh, have I made this mistake over time? Is a workout plan. So you get all excited. You're like, okay, you know what? New Year's resolution. I'm ready to do this. I'm going to get all in shape. I'm going to do my thing. And so you start eating right for 2 days. You hit the gym really hard for 2 days, and you try to do everything. You get really sore, like so sore you can't move. And then you quit because you're like, oh, my body can't take this. Like, I need to back off. You sometimes you even hurt yourself trying to do things. And why is it so easy to quit? Well, you did all this work in 2 days. Like, I really worked hard. And you look in the mirror and you don't see any difference, and it's discouraging. And the point is, like, you're never going to get there in 2 days. Everybody actually knows that intellectually. It's more about a consistent routine that will actually give you results in the long run. The key is to start, and I believe start slow. It's important to start slow in whatever you're doing. What do you think, Brad? Can you relate to this?
100% in all the areas you're talking about.
Yeah.
In working out, and the one that actually came to my mind first, honestly, was the speaking. Because I really wanted that and have always wanted that, to be up and to be like talking to people, and especially after the coma. And so I sort of had gotten this message that I'm supposed to reach a certain amount of specifically teenagers for Jesus and like bring them to him. And so then I took that and just put that in like acceleration mode, in a way that is not good, the way that you're talking about, and that like, I was like, it was all that I was like thinking about. And it was like one of those things where I wasn't letting opportunities come and flow because I was like working too hard to find them.
Right.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah. And if I could jump on this actually, because I think that's an amazing example, because I was there. I remember your first talk post the coma, and it was sincerely, I believe, straight from the Holy Spirit, just flowing straight through you. The room was just electrifying. I had chills. I was literally crying in the back because I had mourned your death, and so watching you speak the way you were, like, to me it was like groundbreaking. And I remember talking to you afterward and saying something about like needing to work at this or whatever. And what happened was you worked on booking more speaking engagements instead of working on your speaking. Yeah. And those are two different things. And I think that this is a reminder for everybody that sometimes early success can be a curse. Mm-hmm. Because you don't feel like you have to work at it. I know I had that problem in school because I could not work at something and still get an A- or a B+. So it was really hard to motivate myself to go for the A+ each and every time, when I'm like, I can get an A-, it's pretty much the same grade, and zero effort. I can just watch Saved by the Bell. Zach Morris and Screech. What's that? We couldn't hear you. Say that again.
I said, and everybody wants to watch Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah. When I wake up in the morning and Joey, what about you? Can you relate to some of this stuff?
Yeah, for sure. I was gonna say really quick, Nick is in the comments. He said, Brian, you look great.
Oh, that's nice.
So.
Hey.
That was cool.
Yeah. It's probably because of your chest. You're bearing the chest. It's nice.
Showing a little chest.
Yeah, Nick loves some Brian chest. Big fan. No, so Joey, I'll give you one, and then I would love for you to talk into it because I'm so thrilled with where you are as a human being in general, but also as a professional around here. If I were to say to you when you first started, hey, you're gonna be editing a movie tomorrow, the Valleywood movie. From beginning to end, when you very first started. And I'm like, learn it all, and tomorrow you're going to do it. Go.
No. Yeah, I had very low self-confidence when it came to that. I just did not see myself doing a lot of the stuff that I do now. And
but in my opinion, it wasn't just like you had low confidence. I actually believe that you hadn't earned the confidence. Like I would have never asked you to do that because you didn't, not like you were low confidence on you, but it was more like that skill set is something that you weren't even close to. Like not even close.
Actually, jumping on that, I remember that meeting
when I first said you're gonna edit the movie.
Yeah.
That was like 8 months in advance too. Or 6 months.
Well ahead of time.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. It wasn't about like do this tomorrow. You just needed him to believe that he could do it.
Right.
And that he could learn it, and then that you would be there alongside him to do so. That I would as well, because I've done editing, and like basically that as a team we would figure out how to do it. He just needed to believe that he would be able to make it happen, and then we would slowly do so.
Yeah, and honestly, what you're saying, Brian, is actually true. But what I was referring to was even a year before that when Joey first started. If I were to say that to him, to say, hey, tomorrow you're going to do this, it would be an impossible ask.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So then what Brian's mentioning is exactly right, which is what I ended up doing for real, which was it was either 6 months or 8 months or something like that in advance. I put it in. We put it out in the universe. We connected it to something, and he's right. Like, so you can go back into that now, Brian, about belief, because that's you're exactly right. Because this is the start slow concept. Essentially, it's believing you can do it, starting the process of learning, and then just understanding. Okay, what am I going to have to figure out between now and however long from now before I'm going to be proficient in that thing?
Yeah. Well, so, I mean, the belief part that was in the meeting, we spent about 15 minutes or more just literally going through and kind of guiding Joey into realizing that he could and realizing that that's even a possibility because we could see it in him, especially you. You could see that he can do this, that he is able to do it. And then it was fear that was holding back, nothing else.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, then it was those 6 months, and then that was a slow process of us meeting together, doing scripts together, like every little piece. And then when we got to Valleywood, even Valleywood itself was like kind of learning together each night. And then by the time we finished that one, he was way better and ready for the second one.
Right.
And so that was kind of just my point was like, you're starting with your idea of like, if this had happened, like if I just jumped this on you, and then I was like, this is kind of how it went down actually. And that's kind of cool. It really did fit exactly what you're talking about completely.
Yeah.
And then we chose to green screen the whole second movie, which was dope.
Every bit of skill you learned in that 8 month period was needed for that.
Yeah.
And then, because you because you developed yourself in such a way, you were able to come up with an idea, or take my idea. I don't remember whose idea it was first. It doesn't matter. But the point was you were able to take this idea and go, I wonder if, and you did this thing, and it was like, boom, like you took a technology that is out there. Obviously, it's out there, but we didn't know to what extent we were going to be able to use it, and you basically now have reinvented the way we're going to be doing Valleywood from now on in such a way that it's going to be more fun, easier, and expand our minds into being able to do even cooler movies than we've already done.
And I believe, Matt, you're in front of a green screen right now.
I am, yeah. And that came from that. You're right. That 100% came from that.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a matter of fact, Joey figured out the technology we're using here through that Valleywood process, and much like you're seeing the live green screen here, we were able to film the movie with the piece we were going to have green screened. Eventually, we didn't do it right away, but eventually we were seeing what the background was going to be live, so that I could direct the actors exactly where to go, and then we didn't have to do all that post green screen work where we adjust the background, which is honestly, that's what usually takes so much time, you know?
Yeah.
I can't wait for this year's Valleywood. Like, it's gonna be off the chains. Like, I'm so excited. As a matter of fact, I just had like 3 or 4 ideas hit me, because I can't wait to try new things now using that, you know?
Yeah, you talked about doing like a dinosaur one.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like a Jurassic Park one. I was like,
so
that's so cool.
Yeah. So, and if I can tease you for a second really quick, Joey, and also compliment you simultaneously. Going back to that first moment when we had to talk you into it. There's a part of you that you've got this thing built in you, this automatic defense mechanism deal, and you get locked. Like, you bury your feet in the ground and you're like, no. Like, really, what is the word for it, Brian? It's like stubborn. Like, you got this stubbornness. Like no, I'm not going to be able to do it. But when we get to the core of it, it turned out it's because you knew how much Valleywood meant to us. You knew how important it was to our community, to our kids and teens, and like what it means. And you just, at the end of the day, didn't want that pressure on you, feeling like if it didn't go well, the fail was going to be your fault. And that's what we had to work you through, essentially, was that, like, hey, yes, you're going to take on this major piece, but no, if the ship goes down, we go down with the ship. And either way, I'm the captain of this ship. It's my fault. I mean, I am taking all the blame for everything that goes wrong, number one. Number two, we are a strong crew. Like, no matter what, we are in this thing together. And once we were able to convince you of that in your heart, and you're like, okay, I just got to start and do this thing, you became so powerful. You were able to walk into this like so powerfully. And this goes back to what you were talking about yesterday, Brian, as far as surrounding yourself with the right people who are going to ask you the right questions, who are going to encourage you in the right way, and who won't let you get stuck in the mud, stuck in your fear, stuck in whatever. Now, I promised you a compliment, so let me give that to you. That same stubbornness, though, when it is delivered with love and from a particular perspective, you're one of the people that I respect the most when I want resistance. So, like, if I've written an important email, or I have a design question, or something that's like, I actually want the critique, I want you to find something wrong with it. That perspective is something I can trust in you.
Yeah.
To be like, okay,
Sure.
I'm really gonna look and find, and if there is something here, I'm not looking to make it good. I've been called upon to find the negative, and I'm willing to do that for the greater good. And that is something that is I believe a very, very powerful and really, really unique and important and valuable trait. So it's like, and this is funny too, because we can take any of our like good habits, bad habits, and you can take something that would be considered negative, and if you put it in the right context, it's positive. And you can take something that's positive and in the wrong context make it negative. I mean, even somebody who's always happy, right? You think like, oh, that's a great thing. But if you put someone who's always happy in the wrong scenario, and that person can't read the room and is overly happy in a situation where happiness is not really required right this second, that could actually be a bad thing, weirdly.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yo, the comments is blowing up this morning.
We blowing
It's
up?
pretty great.
Cool.
We got Joanne in there. She said, "Good morning, sunshine. So happy to see Brian joining
Joanne
you."
Stafford.
And she said he looks fantastic.
Hey!
It was in all caps, so I kind of had to yell it. And then Astrid says dinosaurs, and she put the dinosaur emoji.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
Joanne says, if you do the Jurassic Park theme, you might finally get my son to join in. ...
Well, we already have the 2 movies I think selected for this year, so that'll have to be 2 years from now.
Oh, okay.
But the so what I want to try, which we didn't really do much of, is, and this is now okay. We got 6 months, so I'm
6 months.
gonna throw this at you now.
Live on the air.
and
I did not take this well in our meeting last
I
time.
know, I know.
What are you doing to
Do you want
me
me to
over
back?
here?
You want me to back off?
What? No, bro. I'm just.
All right.
I was just being
I
silly.
know you're playing the game. I'm playing too. So so what we didn't do was we did basically only stills.
Mm-hmm.
We put
Moving
we put
backgrounds.
videos behind it,
Yeah.
and then we put stuff in the foreground to look like the background, so that you can have the moment where you look behind you and you feel the dinosaur, and there's a real dinosaur like video,
Yeah.
coming at you, and then you're running, and like that's what I want to try to pull off, which we haven't done yet.
Believe it or not, in a lot of ways, that's easier. In a lot of ways, that's easier.
All right.
Like
You heard it here first.
there are challenges to it, but with the images, when it's like a background, there's a lot of punching in you have to do, and you have to make it to where nobody knows that you
Right.
punched in, and you're punching into a picture.
Right.
So when the background's moving, it's a little easier to get away with like cutting into one side or the other, depending
Well, you know
on
what
where
else
the
is nice
actor's at.
is you're going to be able to cut into just the video and not the actor at all.
Yeah.
Like I turn around, I see the dinosaur. Just go close up on the dinosaur's face. Just going, right? Like,
Brian, can you please impersonate a dinosaur for us?
yeah, Brian, you will be playing the dinosaur. What? Okay, all right.
Are you making noise?
Yeah, we don't hear you. You must have muted yourself. Yeah.
Nope.
Oh, I
still-
turned him down. That's why.
All right, go ahead.
Sorry.
Do the roar.
All right, hold up. So Brian's going to do this again. You're going to do the dinosaur again. In the comments, please write down what is the name of the dinosaur that Brian is. If Brian were a dinosaur, what would be his dinosaur name? Okay, go ahead, Brian.
I can't wait to hear this one.
All right, I love it. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be so fun, obviously. And you know what else is cool? Like this is one of the things I like about Valleywood too is we've obviously come so far, and the finished product is really, really awesome every time. But I was watching Mandalorian with Jack last night, and we're now like we let it stack up a little bit, so we're trying to watch like one episode a night or every other night after everybody else goes to bed.
Brian watched it without me, so I haven't seen any of the second
He's
season
in the
yet.
hospital. I mean, the poor guy.
I got permission.
You did give permission.
poor
How
guy.
do you say no to that?
You
though?
can't. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you can't.
And how do you not watch it? Like he's watched probably so much bad TV in there that he's like, okay,
Not to. I tried, but yes, I have.
yeah. So anyway, I'm watching The Mandalorian, and it's so fun to like look at some of the moments where you're like, I know how they did that. Like I understand that move. I know what they did. And then to look at other stuff and just go, wow, I don't know how to do that. Like that, I'm not even close to being able to pull that thing off. Like that was really cool. And then you think, okay, that was neat. Really all that was a more extensive set than we're able to build. And it's a more extensive costume than we're able to create because they have, I don't know, $100 million at their disposal to create this thing. But then you can still appreciate the artistry and appreciate the forethought. So one of my favorite parts of The Mandalorian right now is actually the after it's done, like when the episode is over, they show the drawings. You know what I'm talking about, Brian?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically like a storyboard, and you can see. I think it's Jon Favreau that directs these. You can see what he was thinking, where they were kind of envisioning it to go, and then you get to see how close they were when they actually created it. It's pretty neat.
Also, how did you get on set of The Mandalorian? By the way, just wondering.
Well, I'm friends with Favreau.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah,
Cool.
and me
Is
and
Baby Yoda as cool as the internet makes him out to be?
Let me see that again.
All right.
Hey, buddy. Hey. Oh, tickle, tickle, tickle. Yeah, Baby Yoda is so cute.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
Oh my gosh. And we're going to ruin stuff, so I can't even talk about it. So I won't say anything
We'll
'cause
move on because
so
I
many
haven't
good
seen it
things.
either, so I don't want to ruin for me.
Yeah, Baby Yoda.
By
Great.
the way, yesterday I went through because I do try and watch something that's like good, and like find something good.
Okay.
Guess what I watched yesterday in dialysis? First thing,
What is it?
The Patriot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Immediately.
Right?
Immediately.
Right?
Like,
So good.
Right away. So good.
So
I love
good.
that movie. But you talked about it, and I was like, I gotta watch that movie.
Dude, every now and then, and especially like, I know this is weird, but with all the politics and stuff that's been going on right now, and they've been talking about patriots and stuff, I'm like, all right, I need a good war movie. Like, I just need to like watch a good war movie. And so, because even like if you go back and you know what else is a great movie, Bri? I recommend this if you have time today to watch a movie before you. Are you getting out of there today?
That would be the hope.
Get my roommate back.
Well, if you have time for a movie before you break out of there, watch or rewatch Lincoln.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And the reason I think it's interesting right now is to remind everybody that's out there about, like right now, the truth of the matter is the country is still in a place where we haven't made a decision. The final decision on president actually has not been made. Like, that is the truth. And it feels weird to have everybody arguing over these different things and like blah, blah, blah. But if you go back and you look at it, you're like, we've been doing this as a country over and over and over and over again. That is what makes our country great. So it's very cool to go back to Lincoln days and watch them in Congress, watch the senators like yelling at each other, having their own opinion of different things. And, they finally get through and they make a decision. And then the country just kind of moves that way, Mm-hmm. So that was kind of why I was liking going back and watching some of this stuff too, is just going like, okay, let me see how our forefathers started. Let me see how the revolution started. Let me watch like some of these great scenes reenacting Congress and reenacting how things are going. And then to me, it helps me relax to realize like, okay, this is normal. This is a normal part of the process actually. And is it stressful? Of course. But it's also something we're going to get through. And if we believe and we have a belief in God and everything, that there's going to be like the right things are going to come into play for the right reasons. And then we get to the next step or whatever that's going to be. So,
all right. So we got some T-Rex names in the comments.
oh,
Ryan.
all right.
Okay. So
You mean dinosaur names? Not
dinosaur
T-Rex.
names. Yeah, I already said the first one. Joanne says T-Rex. Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
She
Joanne's just nice. She just gives you the most popular, like baller dinosaur.
Okay, and then Astrid, I'm gonna have to ask her to explain this in the comments, but you are the Compsognathus.
Compsognathus?
Yeah. Compsangthus. Compsognathus. The Compsognathus. And I came up with my own.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of a Brontosaurus Rex?
No.
Oh, it's like the bigger one with the spikes on his back.
Okay.
He's the Brontosaurus Rex.
Nice.
I like that. Yeah, maybe I'll start doing the dad thing and just like anytime you say the name, I just go full dinosaur.
Or the Beardosaurus.
The Beardosaurus. Oh,
Beard-
that's better.
Beardosaurus.
That's so much better.
Oh, I like that.
You guys wait. Once he gets out of here, you kiss that mustache and beard goodbye. He is. You what?
No, that's not going anywhere. But
Oh, you're gonna keep it?
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it for a little bit.
You changed your mind?
The mustache I'll clean up. I'll clean up the mustache. It really does need a good clean. Yeah.
It kind of fits for the No Shave November thing, which we're gearing up toward getting to the end of. But then you can always keep it and be Santa, so that works.
Keep it, be Santa, an Irish Santa.
Irish
Everybody
Santa.
loves an Irish Santa.
Right.
Yeah. No, I bet he'll let the kids in class when he gets back put beads in his beard.
Matter of fact,
braid little.
speaking
knots.
of Santa, I got a little shout out to Samantha King, youth/teen student. Samantha King, where you at, girl? Where you at? Samantha King said she was going. She's like 10, by the way. She said she was going to decorate the studio for the holidays. And Samantha King, where you at? Samantha King, the 10-year-old, you committed to decorating our entire studio for the holidays.
And Matt already dissed Brian for you. He said
that's
you were
right.
a much better
did.
job than Brian usually
did.
does.
I was like, all right, so like Brian did something. It's like not classy. We need something classy. Is basically what I said. And this little girl, you know, I'm like, okay, she's got the right, you know, she's got the right like spirit and wants to do all this. You know, I'm not seeing it, Samantha King. I'm not seeing the results here.
Okay, Astrid said the justification is because it also makes high-pitched noises.
Oh, so it's a real dinosaur.
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
It must be a real
I've
dinosaur.
never heard of the Campanthicus.
You're
I'm
right.
getting labeled by dinosaurs. This is great.
Yeah.
No, going back though to even Lincoln. I was just gonna backtrack us for a sec. It goes right into sort of what your whole thing was is just starting slow and like building up. You know, you look at somebody like that, and like he's a phenomenal actor. Somebody I use as an example a lot, and I've used specifically the movie Lincoln as an example. Because there's this one shot where there's like they're all sitting at this table, and it's like a pan shot where it like slowly pans in to Abraham Lincoln, like, but it's like I can't remember the time, but I want to say like 5 minutes of just a slow pan shot. It's like going in and going in and going in, and it takes an incredible amount of skill as an actor to be able to pull off enough skill to have the camera stay that long on you without cutting away and still be interesting to watch, you know? And I remember in that movie, that moment, and just going like, "Gah!" They never cut away. They just kept panning in to him, and I'm going like, "That's as an actor, that's something incredible to pull off, you know." And that came through. Like again, he wasn't just I'm Daniel Day-Lewis, like
Right.
It took a long time of just like slowly building, and all those great actors will tell you the same story. Most of them were either right on the brink of quitting or they just had it just happened after a long period of growing. So yeah, just thought of that example.
No, that is a good example. And go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say shout out to Mr. Greg Renfro for telling me I was out of focus.
2 times.
2 times.
My bad, 2 times, because I did hit the focus button.
No,
earlier
he
this
did.
morning,
It was
but
just weird. Sometimes it doesn't.
maybe it grabbed the microphone instead of your face. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, the microphone is big. These are Joe Rogan's mics. I don't know if you knew that. They are.
All right. So and along that same line too, and we probably ought to wrap the show here, but there's the idea too when you're filmmaking to be able to start slow with a character development, and it can be hard to remember sometimes that a moment like that it's very slow. It reminds me of the episode we did, Slow Down to Accelerate. It's like in order to keep the audience interested, you need to go slow enough that when you move and go quick, it matters. And I think a good example of this was Bourne Identity 2. The first Bourne Identity was so awesome, and it was like groundbreaking, you know, and like the way that they did the effects and all that, super cool. The second one got a lot of critique, and I didn't personally like it as much, but I was really excited for it. And I remember going to the movies, and I just felt like a little nauseous from it. And the reason was they never slowed down. They took those cool techniques, the cool like effects, and they upped the ante on it. But they just like the whole movie was like boom, 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 and they never slowed down enough to give you a break from all the craziness, you know?
Yeah.
And so it turns out like there can be too much. It's like, you know, Jurassic Park, if you think about it, the part where they're actually getting chased by the dinosaur it takes a while to get there. It takes a while for us, the first one, for us to really know and understand and develop the characters so that we actually care whether or not they get eaten by the dinosaur.
All right, once Brian gets back in studio, we need to have an episode. I just decided this. I'm pretty sure it's gold, okay?
All right.
Hear me out. We need to have an episode where we debate movies and TV shows because I had a very strong take on that.
On Born Identity
Yeah,
Part
just
2?
like that idea, because I don't believe that sequels are ever as good.
I would agree with you most of the time.
Like there are a few,
Correct. There's a few.
but for the most part, like they're just like they disappoint every time, and you get excited, like you said, because you're like, oh, I love that first one, and then you go in and you're like, well,
Yeah.
that was not what I thought it was gonna be.
Well, and actually, that would be a great episode too. I assigned this to one of our kid students, who I don't remember what movie it was, but we brought in this assignment for them to go find something that they thought was funny, and then tell us about it in the class. And he was like, "Yeah, I watched this movie, but truthfully, I actually didn't think it was funny." And it was a part 2. It was a sequel of a movie. And so I gave him an interesting assignment, which I think I'd like to do on air with you guys. The assignment was for him to figure out why wasn't it funny. You know, and go like, okay, what did they do different? Why was the sequel not as good? Because it can be done. It's just rare. But
Yeah.
why was it not as funny? And that's a really interesting question to see. Like, okay, here's this moment. We know it should be funny. We know they're trying to be funny. We can hear the script. We know the way they wrote it. We know the way the actors are acting it. But we're not responding. Why? And I think that's a good question to ask.
Yeah. Boom.
Or I'm not scared, or I'm not, I'm
I'm
not
scared.
thrilled. Like, whatever it is, like, why am I not getting the feeling that I should be getting in this moment?
Yeah.
And by breaking down why not, it steers you into what you should do too.
I like the challenge. That's cool.
All right, that is our episode today, everybody. You got anything else to wrap up, guys, before I put a period on this thing?
Nah, put a period on it.
All right, so remember, you got to start slow, but you got to start. Start slow. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share. Help us spread this light-driven content to the planet. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Thanks for listening to Mornings with Matt. Please like, subscribe, and follow us at Deering Acting Studio to keep up with the latest content. For more information on classes, private lessons, or professional development coaching, visit www.deeringstudio.com. Have a Deering day, everyone.